Hey folks, this is for the introduction for arrest rights as an individual in Australia, because I got bored watching the Audit YouTube channel about the laws in the USA, and I thought, well, I know a lot of people know that when they come over from overseas to here, or even locals don't even know about these laws. Not all of them anyway. I've simply I did not research all this. I simply just Googled the rights of arrest as an individual, or your rights. If you're arrested in Australia, what are your rights? I Googled that, and I read out what I could find and what people were asking as questions at websites that are legal websites in Australia. And so to give you an idea that we are an imperialistic democracy, which means we have a monarch as our head of state. We are not a republic. And it just shows you what rights you do have as an individual regarding the laws and so on when it comes to your arrest, or whether or not you've been accused of something you haven't done or whatever, or even you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. These should help somebody in some way if you're here or if you're coming here from overseas. Because most people even here don't understand our own constitution, because as I said, that is deliberate. They deliberately do not want you to understand your own constitution, the lack of individual rights. So when it comes to the judicial systems here, you don't really have any individual rights, because in general they don't even have to tell you what those rights are here, unless you absolutely insist and ask. So this is an introductory letter to that, and questions I'm reading out and showing. Hi folks, I got a little bit bored. So, regarding politics in Australia and individual states regarding arrest, because most people don't give that any thought because they don't think they've done anything wrong. So, an example of some legal aid in Australia. So, for starters, you have a right to, this is by Legal Aid Queensland, and I've typed up Australian law on arrest rights. You have the right to know that you are under arrest and for what kind of offence. The police must tell you this at the time of the arrest. You don't have a choice about going with the police. They can force you to go with them and can use reasonable force to carry out an arrest. That says a lot. That means we have no individual rights against this type of arrest whatsoever, because that's our constitution. It does not verify or clarify anything. The next one people also asked is, what are the rules for arrest in Australia? And this is from ACT Law Society. The police may arrest you if they reasonably believe you have committed an offence, even if in fact you are completely innocent. If you resist arrest, you are committing an offence with which you may be charged, even if the police do not charge you with any other offence. Again, you have no individual rights here. The next one, what are my rights when dealing with police in Australia? They will tell you your rights before they question you, whether they question you as a witness or a suspect. You do not have to answer any other questions. You have the right to be silent. If the police officer tells you that you are breaking the law by refusing to tell them information, ask to speak with a lawyer. And this is from Legal Aid Victoria. Next, when can police arrest you in Australia? The police may arrest anyone suspected of committing a crime. The police do not need a warrant to arrest you. The police must make it clear to you by words or by actions that you are under arrest. If you are under arrest, you are not free to go. And this is by ISC, South Australia Government website. The next one is this is for where is this for? Sydney criminal lawyers. Unlawful arrest occurs when police officers arrest someone without abiding by the regulations and arrest procedure that they must abide by. As you can, if you listen, it says nothing about constitution, nothing about your rights, because you don't have any. That's why they don't use the word constitution in Australia. This can lead to people being arrested for no good reason or as a result of unfair discrimination. It can also lead to mistreatment of suspected offenders who have been arrested. Up here, someone's asked, can you sue for wrongful arrest in Australia? Under law, claims for wrongful arrest and false imprisonment must be brought within 6 years of the incident where a potential personal injury claim is sought, where you have suffered a diagnosable injury at the hands of the police. Such claims must be brought within 3 years. And this is by ngm.com.au. And this is by police civil claim or sue police civil claim. And again, no individual rights because the Constitution doesn't give us any. So if you come into Australia, you must understand that. It doesn't matter what state or territory you are in. They can force you. Someone's even asked, can I film police in Australia? It is legal to filming police. You have a legal right to film in public, therefore you can film or take photos of police when they are performing their duties if they are in public. And this is by hamiltonjake.com, filming police in Australia, what the law says. What else has someone asked? Do you have to open the door for the police in Australia? Someone has actually asked this question. Generally, police cannot enter private property without the consent of the occupier of that property. However, under the Police Powers and Responsibilities Act of 2000, police can enter private property without the consent of the occupier in some situations, which it pretty much means for them to, if they don't have probable cause, basically, they cannot open your door to enter unless you do. Otherwise, they need a warrant from a judge, from local court, to open your door. And to do that, they have to tell you that they have a warrant to open your door before they do so, or forcibly do so. So you should not open your door to anyone, whether they have badge or not, unless they've got a warrant. Can police access your phone in Australia? Understanding your rights when police search your phone in Australia, what you need to know. Police in Australia can search your phone if they suspect if you or your phone has been involved in a crime. Under Criminal Code 25A, police officials can issue a warrant to search your phone. This is by jjlawyers.com.au. Who has powers of arrest in Australia? Police have powers to arrest and detain people to keep the peace, prevent crime, and protect property. The webpage will help you to understand more about these police powers. This is Legal Aid Western Australia Government.com. Do you have to show ID in Australia? There is no law that says you have to carry ID, but If a police officer believes you have given false name, address, or age, they can detain you to figure out who you are. If you are driving a car including an L or P plate, then it is an offence to fail to produce your driver's license if the police request it. And that's from yac.net.au, Australia. What happens after arrest, Australia? Okay, someone's asked this question. After your arrest or detainment, you may be released on bail by the police and given a court date. You may refuse bail and be taken to a holding facility such as a police lockup or prison remand facility. However, what it doesn't tell you is that you have a right to contact a lawyer or ring somebody if they're holding you, in as far as I understand, because I live here, so I have to understand the laws. If they're going to put you in a police lockup, you have the right to phone somebody, either a lawyer or family, to let them know what's going on. That's your right. What is freedom or arbitrary arrest, Australia? Everyone has the right to liberty and security of person. No one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest or detention. No one shall be deprived of his liberty except on such grounds and in accordance with such procedure as are established by law. And they're not saying constitution again, because as I said, there's nothing in the constitution that protects your individual rights when it comes to being accused of a crime or simply being detained by the police. It's not very specific because there is no laws. There's only laws dictated by the courts, basically. Which means the courts needs evidence and context. Without those two, then the police have to make it up if they don't have either of those, or if they don't use either, or use context. So it's a good idea for wherever you go, you understand the laws of that land or that country, so to speak, to help you to make sure you're not doing anything you shouldn't be doing, and just so you show respect to where you are. Because in the end, that's what it comes down to, is respect of where you are. Okay, here's one. Can you sue a police officer personally in Australia? Under the Police Act, a police officer in New South Wales has personally immunity from being sued if they negligently fail in their duty. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to see what I'm looking at. However, this immunity does not extend to the officer's employer. As such, a victim of crime could bring an action against the state for the negligence, 2 Gs, of an New South Wales police officer. And that's from gotocourt.com.au. Here's a good one. I'm seeing these guys all the time, and someone's asked, do you have to pull over for an unmarked police car in Australia? You should pull over when directed if an unmarked police car is displaying flashing lights. If you have been pulled over by an unmarked police car, excuse me, and you are unsure whether the person is a genuine police officer, you should remain in your car with your car doors locked. And I did, when was it? Today? Was it today or yesterday? I saw an unmarked police car pulling over a driver with their lights on. And in Australia, especially in New South Wales, if you see flashing lights that belong to fire brigade, the ambulance, police, fire brigade, if you see lights, you have to drop down to 40 k's no matter where you are, even on the highway. That's the law when driving a vehicle. Now let's see what else someone's asked. Obviously, I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube regarding a guy called Audit to Audit videos, and it got me thinking about the laws here. And these are some of his videos. And it says this, do Oz police need warrants? Someone's asked that. Arrest or detainment. Police officers can enter your home without a warrant if they reasonably believe that someone inside is in the process of committing or has just committed an indictable offense. Indictable pretty much means somebody who can be sent to another state from the state they committed. If they committed a crime in one state and end up in another state, then that other state can forcibly bring them back and put them on trial, basically is what that means. And they intend to arrest or detain the person in question. And that was Furstenberglo. I don't think I pronounced that right. So, there. Okay, here's an unusual one. Someone's asked, do I have to give my phone password to the police? It is an offence for a person subject to a digital evidence access order to refuse or fail to provide their phone or computer password without reasonable excuse, or to provide false or misleading information whilst perpetuating to comply with the order. Purporting. Sorry about my English. And it is my first language, by the way. Here's one. How long does an arrest warrant last in Australia? Criminal Procedure Act 1986, Section 237. Offence period. Inductible offence is not punishable by imprisonment for 5 years or more, where the accused person is not a child. 15 years, okay. Summary offences where the accused person is 10 years, not a child. Period. 15 years, 10 years. So it's a long term in Australia, and that's by Criminal Procedure Act 1980, as I just read. And that's the duration or period for arrest warrant last in Australia. So yeah, this is the type of questions people are Googling. This is Google. So I thought I'd put this under here under politics and laws, since I was watching the audit on YouTube about American laws and Constitution, and seeing how we don't have any over here. The lack of laws in our Constitution, which is, because of the monarchy that people want to stick to. But yeah. So I hope somebody gets some help out, or gets some use out of this video, because I often hear people, when I talk to people about the Constitution, our Australian Constitution and the lack of laws, they have no idea what I'm talking about whatsoever. Even to this, they start quoting laws to do with America, with their Constitution, and that has nothing to do with it, because we're an imperialistic democracy, and our Constitution has not been amended to be a republic in any way whatsoever. So people are still quoting laws from the US about freedoms and all that. It has nothing to do with Australia whatsoever. We don't live in the US, we live in Australia. And that's the big confusion. is that people don't realise that we don't have their laws over there here, because this is Australia. They need to stop making assumptions and look this shit up. Oh, sorry about the profanity.